In this video, we're going to be looking at a New King James Bible, and it is a giant print Bible. So this is going to be a really good Bible for people who need a larger text. And I think having a nice large text with still something you can carry with you is important, because there are a lot of people who want to carry a physical Bible to church, but they still want something that they can read pretty easily. And Thomas Nelson does a great job of putting out good quality Bibles at an affordable price. It is a reference Bible, which is really nice. They're at the end of the verses, so they're easy to find. And on the back here, we see the retail price is $49.99, and you can likely get it for cheaper than that. So, as I said, good quality at a good price. Gives you some information on the back here. As far as what they call giant print, it is a 13-point font. So that's a pretty good size. They give you an example here on the back. And this particular one is a black leather soft cover, which means it's an imitation leather. And as we get in here, you can see how that looks. And I really do like the design of Bibles like this. On one hand, it's pretty simple. On the other hand, they added this nice border, so they give some extra features just to, make it look really nice and pretty. You see on the spine here, you also have really nice design stamped in there. And it's interesting. It kind of looks like a four-leaf clover almost, kind of a design there. And then you have Holy Bible, New King James Version, Thomas Nelson logo. Subtly here on the back printed is the ISBN number. It's very subtle though. And on the page edges you have gold pages. They do have a red ribbon tucked in here. And so it's just one ribbon, angle cut, double side. Now I know a lot of people have gotten used to multiple ribbons, but I'm thinking for a lot of people that are more traditional, they're used to a Bible just like this, a black Bible with a red ribbon. I think it's going to make a lot of people happy. And it does have Holy Bible stamped on the front. I like that. As you get in here, you see the liner here. It's a gray liner, and it's paper paste down, but it seems like coated, good quality. So for the price, I would say, this is quite nice. Is it going to last forever? No, but you have to pay quite a bit to get a Bible that's going to have edge-lined construction and so on. But as you get in here, you have the title page, publisher title page, and we're going to see this one is printed in Korea, and it is the first printing 2025. So this, as I'm recording this at the beginning of 2026, is a pretty new offering from Thomas Nelson. This is something that they've designed, at least in this particular format, more recently, with this font design and the specifics of the typeset. You see the contents here. You're going to have a preface to the New King James Version, Old Testament books with abbreviations, New Testament books with abbreviations, the contents page, and then a concordance in the back. So nice preface here. And this is a shorter preface. Some Bibles have longer ones. This is just the basic synopsis of the New King James translation. And then here you have the Old Testament title page. And as you get in here, the original comfort print design, I seem to remember back, had a little different look years ago, but I really like how they switched it and they went with this design for the book titles, this particular font here, with the serifs, those little points on the end of certain letters there. I like that. Most of the time for Bible fonts, I really like serif fonts. Now you do see here that the section headings, it looks like that's a sans serif font, but I don't mind that as a contrast. But I don't like the Bible text itself to not have the serifs. I think they look more formal and fitting for the Bible. Now here you see the double column verse by verse format. The nice thing about verse-by-verse format, not only is it easy to find the verses, it's easy for them to slip the references in there after each verse. And again, that just makes it easy to find a reference. They're probably not the most extensive cross-references, but you do have cross-references here, easy to find after each verse. Maybe not every single verse, but each verse that has a cross-reference will have one right after it. And then you also have on the bottom here translator notes and the typical features of the New King James. Now again, this is a 13-point font. Comfort print is what they call this particular font, and it's very bold and I would say easy for most people to read. So I could see a lot of people, I'm currently a middle-aged person, so people my age and up that are looking for larger print Bibles, this is going to be a really great option. And New King James, it's a fantastic translation. Many people love it. And so I think this is just really great. The paper in here being from Korea, typically when I see Bibles printed in Korea, it's pretty good paper, and that seems to be the case here. Really glad to see them printing in Korea. I hope that Thomas Nelson will do that more and more. It looks like it's line matched, so even in these sections here where you would have more show through because of less words here, you can see all those lines on the reverse side are matched with the lines here, so that helps just create a nice, cleaner reading experience, less distracting than if all the words were just jumbled in the back there on different lines. So that's a feature that many Bibles, as you know, have often nowadays. That's a wonderful feature. And as we get in here, getting further into the Bible, I do like to look at the poetry sections, Job, Psalms, and you can see here, again, with that line matching, really helpful for a book like this. Now, I will say that even with line matching, just the way that this typeset is done, and you have the cross references here, you can definitely see ghosting. You can see stuff showing through from the other side of the page. But still, that being said, it's not bad. And we're going to measure this later. I'll try to remember to measure this with a ruler so you can see how big it is. I can tell you in the hand, though, it's a very manageable size. So what I'm saying is they really did manage to get a large text and a lot on the page, still really clean looking, in a manageable size. So I think when you combine all these things, it's really hard to have the best of all worlds with Bible production. They have to weigh out different things, and I would say they've done a very good job with this. Again, for the type of user they're really trying to make this for. And I think you could get a lot of great use out of a Bible like this. In some ways, this is nothing super special, but I think that's part of what makes it great. It's just a really nice, yet again, great designed Bible from Thomas Nelson. And I do want to get further in here as we get to the end of the Old Testament and we get to the New Testament title page. It's always interesting with Bibles to see their print for the words of Christ. This one is a red letter. So all the words of Christ are in the red print there. And Thomas Nelson has been doing a very good job overall with their red print. It seems to be very consistent. It's not as dark, rich of a red as something like a Cambridge Bible, but it's certainly not a bright, annoying type of a red. In my opinion, this is dark enough. Could it be a little darker? Yeah, I wouldn't mind that, to be honest, if I had my choice. But I'd say it's a very pleasant red. And again, because this font is a nice bold print, I think it doesn't look washed out to me. And from what I'm seeing here, they're doing a good job being consistent with the red print. Now, I mentioned, this is nice for people to take to church and still have something with a good size print. Also, this would be a great preaching Bible, teaching Bible, because you can look down at it from a distance It's verse by verse, easy to find the verses. It's not overwhelming in what it has on the page. And yet, this is a good multi-use Bible or multi-purpose Bible, because you can look up cross-references. Now, the one thing you can't do, obviously, very well is write a lot in this Bible. That's not something I tend to do anyway. Nevertheless, you could highlight things and write maybe some little things in the margins, symbols or cross-references. And as we get to the back of the Bible here, we're going to see, first of all, the biblical text ends on page 1894, 1894. So that, from my experience, is a little bit more on the larger end. It does have a lot of pages, which is not surprising considering it's a larger font size. But with that being said, that paper is still quite nice with all those pages. You see here, after the Bible text, you have very nice concordance in the back. So this Bible is just solid, has everything you need in a typical classic reference Bible. You even have the maps in the back here. Typical Nelson maps on a kind of a semi-gloss cardstock paper. It does look really nicely printed. Very useful for people who like maps. And then the paste down liner. So I really do like this, as you can tell. Just another solid item, solid Bible offering from Thomas Nelson. And looking at the size here, it's that nice 9.5 by 6.5 on the cover, maybe a little more than 6.5 on the cover, and about a little over 1.5 inches wide, or excuse me, 1.5 inches thick. So in terms of height, width, depth, it's that kind of typical large print Bible size. Even if this were not a 13-point font, if this were a 10 or 11-point font, it often would be this height and width. Might be thinner, but look at that. Even with the 13-point font, you still have something that's about 1.5 inches thick. So you really can't ask for more for this kind of a Bible. Really gives you everything that you want. I'd love to hear in the comment section what you think about this, or if you have any feedback or questions, feel free to put that in the comment section. But thank you so much for taking a look at this Bible with me from a fresh perspective.